Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Top Billers Toolkit, where me and my twin brother interview top billers from all around the globe to unlock the secrets to their success. Today's guest is Ted Helmuth. Ted runs his own US-based recruitment agency, and he's turning over $5 million every year with a team of 11, and he himself is billing $500K every single year. The reason why I'm so excited to share this episode with you guys is because Ted speaks about some really unique and original BD tactics that he's used to make a lot of money. The one that really caught mine and Ben's attention was how he uses data and market insights and packages them into lead magnets, which he then uses to win new clients. In today's episode, we're going to be going into detail on three main areas: how Ted uses data to create lead magnets and the exact messages he sends in order to win new clients, how he's managed to turn extremely niche events and roundtables into some of his most powerful business development activities. And Ted's going to be telling us a bit about his mission, which is to be the most referred recruitment agency on the planet, and how he aims to get there. Guys, today is a really unique episode. Ben and I got so much value from Ted, a lot of stuff that we are going to be testing and implementing in our business as well. We hope you enjoy this episode as much as we do. As usual, grab a cuppa or a glass of wine, depending on when you're listening to this, and let's get into it, shall we? Wait a second, guys. Quick question for you. If you could land a new client on LinkedIn in the next couple of weeks, how much would that be worth to you? 20, 30, maybe 40K? Well, we have a pretty crazy offer on right now. If you are a recruitment business owner, then we will work with you for free and write you 2 posts at absolutely no cost. And here's the cool part: other recruiters that have come through this free trial have managed to win new clients. They've racked up hundreds of thousands of impressions and started conversations with top tier candidates. It's completely risk-free, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you're interested, the link's in the description below. If not, no worries. We hope you enjoy the podcast. See you later. Ted, thank you so much for joining us today, my friend. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you guys?
Very good. Really good, thank you, mate. Really good. I have to say, one of our guests had cancelled and we were up against it. And then you came in last minute, which was amazing. And I had about like 20 messages in my inbox. And then your one was one of the first, which was interesting. But 2, you told me exactly what I wanted to hear in the DM, like straight away. And I was like, this dude is definitely a good salesperson, because he just knew exactly what to say. You told me how much you were billing, the benefits, and what you can offer. And I just like, yeah, this dude, let's speak to Ted. He knows this stuff. It's so subtle, but like that first interaction makes such a big difference when someone reaches out. So anyway, Ted's here. Ted, thank you so much for joining us. And you've got a few points of difference that I'm excited to jump into today. But before we get into that juicy stuff, let's start off with the first question, as always, which is, what's the number one tool in your toolkit, whether it be a mindset, strategy, or software?
Great question. I love this, and I've listened to enough to at least have a general idea of what most responses look like. What I'd love to see at some point is a histogram of the responses to date.
That's a good idea.
My assumption is mindset probably
Oh,
wins.
100%. Like 80% of the time, it's mindset. Yeah, maybe more like 90%. Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a small curveball and say I've seen employees that have had the best mindset on the planet. They come in every day locked in, they have a growth mindset, they want to win new business, and they want to operate at a high level. But without proper strategy behind that, it's like being stuck in a cave without the lights on, right? They're just feeling their way around, hoping the tunnel that leads them out, is somewhere around the corner. Conversely, with you, I've seen the most brilliant strategists in this industry who look around the corner, they know what's coming, they've got a framework, they are dialed in, but every day their mindset for execution isn't there. And so they can't produce at the level they need to get up to the top performer, echelon, whatever you want to call it. So my answer, I guess, is twofold. It's strategic mindset, so that you're coming in with the right attitude, energy, day in and day out. And mindset changes, right? It's fluid. My mindset changes between morning and afternoon some days. And so the North Star that sort of pulls me in the right direction, gets my mindset in the proper format is that overarching strategy. And so I guess I'd say like I'm gonna cheat and answer both.
That's a great response. It's interesting because I think the mindset and work ethic and execution feels more easy to understand. The strategy, maybe not so much. That for me might be a little bit broader. So, what if we could go like deeper into the strategy? What have you got any examples of what a good and or bad strategy would look like, Ted? In this context.
100%. And strategy is ambiguous. I think
Mm,
the first thing is having a North Star, right? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What can steer you in the right direction? Then you find the North Star and you build a framework around it. So for
mm,
us, we want to be the most recommended recruiting firm in the world. And
mm,
so that's a flag that we've planted, and that's the star that we're chasing. And then each team, sales and recruiting, has a framework around how to deliver on that. And it guides our decisions. We can have a situation come up and, however our mindset is that day or hour or whatever you have you, we know our goal is to be the most recommended. So we know how to deal with that situation to treat the candidate the right way, to treat the client the right way. And then you start getting recommended, you get referrals, and everything sort of points towards the North Star. So I'd say like having that North Star, it could be different for everyone. It could be, I want to feed my family, I want a new house, I want to, but something is making you get up out of bed and do this every day. And
mm.
you got to know what that is.
I love that, Ted. That's so important. I'm fascinated about your North Star and like how you arrived on that, Ted, because you could have chosen anything most profitable, the biggest, the best culture, but you chose most recommended. I'm just curious how you landed on that, and that'd be really interesting to know.
I wanted something irrefutable that no matter what the situation was, there's no way this is wrong.
Mm,
So, most profitable, you're going to cheat. You're going to try to get away with something. Most, fastest growing, you're going to cheat. You're going to take shortcuts.
mm,
Most recommended, you can't cheat on that. How are you going to,
mm,
it is
mm.
the perfect framework to guide every decision that we make.
Love that, dude. That's really interesting. And my follow-on question from that is, um, I'm guessing if that's your North Star, you've had to dissect to some degree how you get recommendations. And this is one thing every company probably wants is, more recommendations because that is an automatic pump into the pipeline, isn't it? And a really
Yes.
good one as well because he's a warm lead. So I'm curious, have you found an 80-20 rule with how you actually get a recommendation? Um, above the kind of obvious thing, which is doing great work. Because like some companies do great work, but still don't get recommendations. So I'm wondering if you've seen any correlation between that,
So
Ted.
it's twofold and it's also very simple. Do great work and ask. And a
Mm,
lot of people don't ask. And that's
mm,
that's one of the biggest hurdles. So if it's a recommendation on uh, Google reviews that you want, you have to ask. If it's a
mm,
survey response you want, you have to ask. If it's a net promoter score, you have to ask. If it's a referral to another client, again, you have to ask. A lot of clients and candidates, um, how shall I say, they're not thinking about you and your business every
mm,
day, but you are.
mm,
And so sometimes it's just a matter of, simply asking. But you have to earn it first. You can't ask for
mm.
something that you haven't earned.
Yes. Love
Yeah.
that, Ted. How do you know if you've earned it, or like how do you know if you're doing great work? Because I guarantee you, if I ask 100 recruiters, and be like, "Hey, you a good recruiter?" and they'll be like, "Yeah, I'm the one of the best recruiters." So I'm wondering, how do you distinguish that, Ted, in terms of like how do you know if you're doing great work, and how do you know when you're ready to ask? How do you know like the client is prime for that ask, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Obviously, a successful place. That's a place to start. Whether it's a candidate
Mm,
or a client, you help them. You help them find a job, you help them find a candidate. Ideally, it was a good match and things are going well. So maybe it's that first week one call. Hey, how's it going? It's going
Mm.
great. Hey, awesome. I'm glad it worked out. Uh, I had a question for you. Maybe you're light on job orders. Hey, we have some extra bandwidth. Would you happen to know someone else that's hiring for a similar skill set? Would you happen
Mm.
to know another hiring manager that told you they're struggling with a search? And then the wheels start turning. Sometimes they're like, not really, but I'll keep you in mind. That's fine. It's a win. Um, but you'd be surprised how many times they just had a meeting with a peer or a VP at a company down the street that happens to be struggling with something. And they're without the thought process, they're not going to recommend you. So you
Mm.
have to ask.
Makes
Yeah,
me think about our
interesting.
business, Ben, and how many times we could have asked for a recommendation. And it just, there's so
Oh,
many
I'm sure
moments.
there's definitely like a funny psychology behind it of why people don't ask, I think as well, because like there's got to be so many great recruiters out there that do amazing work, but they don't ask. And there's this like psychological barrier. And I think it's because a lot of people are uncertain, and this is just speaking kind of fluidly now. They're uncertain if they've done great work or not. And this makes me think, okay, what would solve that? Like a survey or something? Like how
Survey is a
satisfied,
great tool.
yeah,
Yeah.
like how
And it has
satisfied
to
were
be
you from this?
simple.
Mm,
Um, People send these 10 question surveys that you look at it, you're just, immediately like, so I'm too busy. So three
mm,
questions, three clicks of a button. Keep it super easy.
mm. So you're doing that now, Ted, I'm guessing at the moment to
We've built it
clients
into
and
our
candidates.
process for like after a search on the first survey call.
Love
Awesome.
that.
And so what are those three questions, Ted, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a great question. Director of operations put those together. I haven't looked at them in a little bit, but I believe
Mm.
it's question A is, how would you rate your experience with IQ clarity at a scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate the match that was made with this particular candidate, score 1 to 10? And would you recommend us to a friend or colleague? Yes, no.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's
it's
brilliant because then
That's really
you
good.
send that out to all your clients. You get, I don't know, maybe you get a 10 back, and let's just say for argument's sake that five of them is like 9 out of 10, and yes. I mean, you can just jump straight in and ask for a, with no guilty conscience, just like, oh, cool, he said he was refer me. Let's ask for a referral. So that, that's actually a really simple but effective way. So cool. Thanks for that, Ted. That wasn't expecting to go down this route, but this is actually a really great
Going to use
golden
that for
nugget.
our business. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like it's such a simple thing that I feel like everyone should be using. If anything, at the very least, you get great feedback from customers, and you get to get like a sense check of how good you actually think you're doing to like
exactly.
reality.
If you get
Um,
a bad one,
yeah.
great opportunity to follow up. Hey, what went wrong?
Mm,
What could we have done better? And you learn and you modify. But yeah,
yeah.
it's a good tool.
Reminds me of one of the clients that we're working with said he did a survey. He sent a survey to all his customers, and all of them came back with like almost perfect scores. But then his best customer, who he thought wasn't going to come back with anything, came back with this like long list of things that he could improve on. Not like in a negative way necessarily, just in a hey, now that you asked, this is what I think we can improve on. So I think
Mhm.
you also maybe get feedback that you weren't expecting that will allow you to improve your service in ways that could just like skyrocket your business or skyrocket your customer satisfaction score.
Mm.
Um, cool. Okay. Well, we're only on the first question. I can't believe it. And let's jump to the second question, Ted.
Yeah,
You've built a $5 million agency, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're billing around 500K yourself,
correct.
which is pretty amazing. And you have quite an interesting personalized outreach approach, which caught my attention because I haven't heard of this that often. Would you mind talking us through what you're doing and how it works?
Absolutely. We have three fundamental tools that we use to get hiring managers to respond. And they're fairly simple. The first is events. So we host, cater, and create events for hiring managers. I
Mm.
can go into that in a minute. Second is data. So we are always capturing data, researching data, getting data into the hands of our customers that they care about. And that comes in the form of an annual hiring forecast that we put together. We're a tech-oriented, tech and creative-oriented recruiting firm. So all the roles that we fill, we sort of highlight comp trends,
Mm.
turnover rates, and supply and demand metrics for those particular skills. And then annually we publish that, and we have a hard copy. And so we'll ask if you want a copy, and we come out, we meet with you, we sit down, we
Mm.
review it together, and it gets good face time with customers.
Mm.
And then that's the common roles that we fill on a regular basis. There are all of these roles that are niche or very specific, and we're not going to cover every single one of those. So we also offer a custom hiring forecast throughout the year that we will put together very specific data for a very specific skill set. We'll also research who are the other companies in a geographic radius that hire for that skill set. So here's a list of if you want to go poach people from, these are companies that probably hire that particular skill that you might be looking for. And so we package that up, put it into we use a PowerPoint for the meeting, then we make it a PDF and send it to them afterwards. And so data, we're always looking, researching, getting data into the hands of our customers. And then third is very simple that everyone likely uses this, which is profiles, hot candidates, spec profile, whatever you want to call them. Job opening, profile, we have somebody you want, come talk to us.
Mm. Really fascinating, Ted. I'm sure Ben has got a million questions. So have I. Out of the three you just mentioned, events, data, and profiles, which one is the biggest needle mover? It might be. I'm sure you get business from all of them, but is there one that tends to chip the rest in terms of revenue or one clients?
It's a great question. I love events, but it might be because I enjoy FaceTime and
Mm.
and it's an immediate get in a room with your ideal customer profile. And what we do is we will either do a virtual roundtable around a very specific topic, and we'll have like-minded, let's say the last one we did was using code generation tools, AI-driven code gen tools to write software for you. So we
Mm.
got a series of vice presidents of software into a room talking about how their teams are using these tools. Is
Wow.
it impacting their staffing plan? Is it impacting budget? Is it impacting, how are the tools? Are they doing well? Are they not doing well? And so 12 VPs of software engineering, who's our ideal customer profile in a room. I was the moderator, so I would ask questions, they would respond. So without me needing to steal the spotlight, I was just steering the conversation like you guys do on these calls.
Mm.
Um, but my name's on the screen. IQ clarity is being discussed, but not necessarily having to do a huge PowerPoint of what we do. Um, and then follow up right after that meeting. Hey, I thought that was really interesting what you said. I'd love to unpack that a little bit further. Let's grab lunch. So it's a way
Mm.
to get the relationship kickstarted. So I would say the data and the hiring forecast give us more meetings volume because we do it all year, all the time. But these events, the magic that comes out of them is more special, more impactful. So I would go with events first, data
Cool.
second, profiles third.
Wicked.
Mm,
Really
love that.
fascinating. Um, and what kind of just like a bit of it's related, but it's like you are essentially with the first two just finding interesting information and putting it in front of them. And I just find that I'm kind of simplifying it. I know there's a lot more hard work that goes into those two methods, but it is like, what are your market interested in? How can you package that and deliver it to them in a way that they'll find interesting? And it's like just that in itself, the conversation past that point becomes so much easier.
Mhm.
So I just find it fascinating. With events, Ted, if the concept of events is simple. I know in execution it's not as easy as people think it is. What if someone wanted to like replicate what you're doing now? What are the biggest things that what are the pieces of advice that you could give to them, like the biggest hurdles or the things that they should be thinking about when it comes to doing events like yours?
Absolutely. So I'll give so we created something called the Colorado Founder Experience. And one of our ideal customer profiles is the founder of a tech company, right? Maybe they just got funding, they tend to hire, they tend to, have high level roles. So we wanted to get those people into a room and meet them, talk to them. We want to get more connections with venture capital firms. So VCs are in this room as well. And
Mm,
the biggest thing you have to get people a reason to show up. And
mm,
so we have had speakers. We always have a featured guest who either is a unicorn founder, someone that's founded a $1 billion company, and
mm,
these founders are all chasing that dream. So what can this founder tell them about their journey to guide them, give them advice, tell
mm,
them a little story about how they overcame something that most founders are dealing with. We had an Olympian who was in the NFL, Olympic skier, also was in the NFL, who also was a founder who sold a company for I think $40 million, came and talked to the group. So he's an elite athlete, founder. Like, people want to go and talk to this person. And
mm.
so you have to give people a reason to show up. I've seen events where it's like, let's get some founders together and have dinner.
Yeah.
But after COVID, nobody wants to leave their house anymore.
Mm,
And so you have to give a compelling reason to show up. The roundtables we do, that I've had roundtables fall flat. We had like two people show up. It's embarrassing. So because the subject wasn't compelling enough. So it has to be
mm.
compelling. It can't be. I was worried about the code gen because I thought AI, like, I don't want to do another AI roundtable. How many of those you guys get? It's like there's
Yes.
too many of them. So you have to kind of pull through the noise a little bit and have something a little bit different, but enough of a draw to get people to show up.
Interesting. And I'm
Mm,
guessing you've had to test, like you've had some roundtables that flopped and some have done really well, almost like you're testing paid ads. You're kind of seeing what works and what doesn't, and then going with the more successful topics or subjects. Am I right in saying that, Ted?
100%. Yeah. It's similar to the content that you guys help companies with, right? I'm sure like there's
Yes.
good and bad.
Yeah.
You found a way to make it work. Same with events, roundtables.
Mm,
There has to be that draw.
really
love
fascinating. And
that.
my other question is, and I think I know the answer to this, but I'm just interested from your perspective, Ted. How are you getting these amazing guests to come and speak for you? Because that is probably half the battle. Get an amazing guest because then he or she will attract amazing people. How do you
Yeah.
do that? Is it very simple? Is it difficult? What's your feeling?
So it's getting the guests isn't quite as hard as getting the attendees. So the guests
Mm,
feed the attendees. You have to have
That's
the
what I
right
thought as well.
guests. And I've
Mm,
done a multi-pronged approach. So the unicorn founder had a charity he was passionate about. We said, we're going to donate to that charity and we're going to get the people who attend to donate to that charity. So it was a
mm,
charitable, um, both sides win, right?
yes.
Charity gets funding. We get this amazing speaker. On the other side of that, I've paid guests. I'm not
Mm,
beyond very
yeah,
simple.
I was just about to say that. That's exactly what I would do.
yeah.
If you want to get their time, it makes perfect sense.
100%.
100%. And
And
the
I'm sure a
other
lot of
guest, it was the founder of a really high-end restaurant in town. And he was the founder, chef, and had a great story about the restaurant industry that was, aside from the tech sector, but really got a great job out of that one. So,
Mm, cool. Love
love
and he
that.
had
that.
been on like Top Chef and all these chef shit. So he's sort of a celebrity as well. But
Yeah.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
mean,
the other
it's a great way to spend your marketing budget. Like, I don't know how expensive these. Let's say I don't know, anywhere between 10 and 30K. I'm guessing for a
oh,
speaking gig, something like that.
yeah.
But you've got this one star person that everyone wants to speak to, and then now you can, I don't know, you can start attracting people. I'm sure it's not like honey, like bees to honey all the time, Ted. But I'm guessing when you get the right one, it's like super powerful,
It
and
is absolutely.
people just want to
And
be
it's
around
getting
them.
in the room with the people that are very hard to get in that room. And so
Mm,
you can make, 20,000 phone calls and maybe get lucky and get that person to agree to meet with you, or you can get 20 of them in the same room and it's probably a lower cost ratio. And I've tried, we've gone and sponsored a lot of events. The reason we organize them is because when you sponsor an event, you have limited control over that attendee list.
Mm,
You
mm,
have limited control over the event. You have limited control over your time to speak. And so when you put the event on yourself, it might cost a little bit more, marginally more, but you control the attendee list, you control the narrative of your organization, and you control the post-event outreach.
Mm,
So maybe I'm a control freak, but it has been 1,000 times better for us than going and sponsoring an event or things of that nature. We still sponsor events, we still do that,
yeah,
but these are more effective.
interesting.
Yeah.
We're spending a lot of time on this topic, but I'm really, and more than I anticipated, and I really love it, Ted. I've got a follow-on question. What's the most effective way to advertise these events? You've got a great guest. You kind of know who you want to go there. How are you what's the most effective way to grab their attention? Is it paid ads? Is it email? It's probably a mixture of everything, but I'm wondering what's the most effective.
Yeah, we have the target audience for that event and personalized outreach to those. So we're not blasting it to 1,000 people.
Mm,
We're saying these are the 100 VPs of software that we want at this event. I'm going to take the time and look at this one, talk about the people I know in their network, what I've done for their organization in the past, who I know that they've worked for, something very personal, and say, like, we're hosting this event. We'd love for you to be there. Here are the other people that are going to be there. That's important.
mm,
Interesting.
Who else? So the first one's the hardest. It's usually a buddy of mine.
mm,
Hey, can you come
mm,
so I can tell people you'll be there?
mm.
And then that event list grows, and then people are like, oh, I want to meet that. Oh, hey, that's great. Even the speaker's good, and these companies I want to talk to are there. Then it grows from there.
That's
Awesome.
fascinating. I love that. That little tiny detail of mentioning other people who are going to be there, I feel like is super valuable.
Mm,
Um, I think Daniel Priestley says it. It's kind of like with or without you energy. That's how it was. That's how he frames it. Like this event is happening. It's going to be amazing. It's going to happen without you. Do you want to come? Kind of thing. And I
There's a
feel like that's just
FOMO.
super powerful.
Yeah, they're
Um,
missing out. They're
absolutely.
just kind of drive that in. So
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I would.
Um,
Sorry, Ben. Did you have a question?
no, go ahead. What were you
No,
going
I
to
just
say?
wanted to go into the data side because this is a not a problem we have, but we create lead magnets for our clients, Ted. That's one like service offering. One thing that is difficult to get if they don't have this data is the data on salary surveys, um, whatever it is, commission rates, whatever we want to figure out in the industry. If they don't already have this stored somewhere, it's difficult for me and Ben to go off and get that. So I'm just curious from your perspective, how do you gather this data? What tools do you use? Like I'm really fascinated just to get really into that. How do you do it?
yeah, and it's a multi-pronged approach, but we are in the United States in Colorado, and there's pay transparency laws that if you post a job, you have to put the salary in.
Mm,
And so we're fortunate that that data is sitting right there. So you're hiring an SAP ABAP developer with warehouse management experience. I can very quickly look at other companies that hired that skill set and find out how much they're paying them. And AI can do it even faster than I can. So number one is this is for the custom hiring forecast,
yeah.
very specific research for that skill set. And sometimes it's just our market knowledge. Like I filled three of these roles. I know generally what companies are paying. So
Mm,
we combine research with our market knowledge
mm,
and put sort of an average together. So
yes.
that's one way of doing it. And then on the annual forecast, it's deep research. So
Cool.
we have LinkedIn Talent Insights, we have Perplexity, we have all of these tools that can sort of give us an idea. And of course, like we are market experts, so we can validate that data
Yes.
and then package it and put it into an easy, digestible format that our customers can simply open up and see, oh, yeah, okay, great. Now I can plan my budget for next year.
Awesome. And
Love
which
that.
tool would you say has been the most useful for gathering? Because I use Perplexity as well, Ted. I think that's a brilliant tool. But is there one tool that's been the most consistent with gathering data for that product?
I love Perplexity for its detail and it'll tell you, it'll cite where it found it.
Mm,
So you can
yeah.
go and further get more detail from where it found its data. But LinkedIn Talent Insights for us is super dialed in. It is
Mm,
right there, very easy. It has all of what we want, the turnover data, the top
wow.
companies that hire that skill set. So we use more than that, but if I didn't have that, I feel like we'd be at a slight disadvantage. And what's amazing is most of our clients have it too. They just don't want to do it.
Yeah,
They're busy. They
interesting.
don't
Yeah, makes
have
sense.
time to do this research.
How much is the I'm sorry, we're going to the kind of random, but how much is the package for Talent Insight, LinkedIn Talent Insights? Is it like extortionate or is it like reasonable?
It's for the company and it's an annual license. And I want to say it's $20,000 a year, which is not,
Cool.
if you're a small agency just starting, that's hard. That's hard to swallow that price tag. And I think you could get away with it with Gemini, or Perplexity with it. But Gemini, you don't even need a license for Gemini. So you can basically scour the web in 30 seconds
Yeah.
and get enough data to put something together. I will tell people it doesn't have to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
It's the fact that you're doing some legwork on their behalf, which goes back to being the most recommended. If we're providing value and not asking if they have any needs, they want to work with us. They don't feel forced into working with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
I love that.
I just want to. Oh, sorry, you've got a question?
Well, it was more just like because LinkedIn Talent Insights sounds epic, and I'm sure it's very valuable for the right company. The other area that you said, Ted, is you can, and this is what me and Sam have been doing. We hired a AI expert, almost free on a freelance basis, and they know how to manipulate these tools in such a way that they're going to get much more accurate data. And so that's probably a more cost-effective way to do it as well. For anyone listening to this, there are a ton of AI experts who may not be like experts per se, but they're like 20 times better than you, and they can do they can do a better job than you within a relatively cheap cost.
I'm guessing though, LinkedIn Talent Insights, it's all in one place, Ted, and so it just saves a lot of time.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
and then
yeah,
I'm
of
guessing
course, but I'm just saying if you can't afford £20,000 to dish out, which a lot of people can't, like the other option I think is quite useful because there's as Ted said, like Gemini, these other tools, they're good enough to make something great. So that's more of a statement than a question. Just wanted to kind of throw out there. Go ahead.
To your guys' point, the impetus behind this was I try to put myself in my client's shoes, right? What do they want? What are they going to care about? And as a business owner, if someone came to me and said, "Hey, Ted, I can tell you what the 10 other agencies pay their sales reps in town and what their commission structure looks like, and you can see how that compares to what you're paying your team," I would say, hell yes, let's talk. So we try to take that approach. So the fact that you guys are trying to do that is amazing. But I would also say to you two and to others on this call, just asking sometimes. Because if you were to come to me and say, like, would you give us your comp plan and everything, we won't tell anyone, but we'll aggregate it. I might be willing to do so. I'm not going to do it on this call, but you can gather data from your wide network of recruiting firms and compile that.
Yeah.
Really interesting, Ted.
Really good point.
So I just want to go back to, because you said that, and this is really fascinating, and I haven't heard this before, and it's really clever, is that you compile the data, put it in a physical form, and then use that to say, hey, Mr. Klein, we would love to come show you this and have a talk about it. I think that's absolute genius. And I'm just curious how you set that up, Ted. So you've got the hard copy. How do you position that on a message? Do you call them? Like, can you give me an idea of how you set that up and get your foot in the door?
It goes back to personalized outreach. So for me, like there are people on my team that are phone warriors, and they'll call and they'll get, hey, we have this guide. Here's what's in it. It's great. Awesome. They book meetings.
Yep.
For me, I've been messaging this person probably for a good few years. And so what's in this guide that's going to get this person's attention? And right now, what's working is we have a whole section on AI roles. So boom, hey, I want to know what are you paying AI engineers? What do you pay? So that's been a draw, but that's more mass market. A lot of times it's just very specific. Like, hey, I've seen you've hired .NET before. We have a whole category on .NET turnover comp in Denver. Would you be curious what other companies are paying their engineers? Yes, I'm very curious. Let's talk. And some of them always ask, like, can you send me a copy? And it's like, well,
yes, I was just about to ask that. So how do you get around that? Because I'm guessing you don't want to just give them without some sort of commitment. Are you asking them to jump on a call, Ted, in order to get access to this? Is that what you're doing?
So if they're adamant, like I'm not in the office, I work from home, I work remote, like we'll try for coffee. But also it's like make it easy on them. If somebody really wants to see a virtual copy, fine, I'll get on a call. But the goal is if they're a prospect, the price is 15 minutes. Talk
Yeah,
to me
yeah,
for, let me walk you.
yeah.
The guide's not valuable without me sitting there telling you about it, pointing you in the
Mm.
right direction, asking questions. And so it's like, I'm not doing this for me. The guide is worthless unless I'm sitting here and pointing you and navigating and figuring out what you need. I'll go find it in there for you. So
That's the key, actually. It's funny. It sounds small, but I feel like that is a really interesting key part of the process that stops. Because with all these valuable lead magnets, people can kind of just download them and you never hear from them again. But then if you get them on a call, you amplify the value with the presentation and you build trust. Like I'm guessing to get them on another call is the chances are going to be dramatically increased. So I absolutely love that. And is there a way that you frame it, Ted, that we haven't talked about in terms of like, do you say that like maybe they're like, oh, cool, yeah, hey Ted, yeah, would love a copy, and then you're like, great, I need to be there to explain. Do you like say something in particular, or do you frame it in a way for them to be like, oh, cool, yeah, that makes sense, or do a lot of
the
them just say,
last
yeah,
line in
sure?
the email is the call to action. Let me walk you through this. I put a calendar link in there, book some time with me. Let me know how
Interesting.
your schedule looks next week. I'll swing by and drop it off and walk you through our findings. And I
Cool. Okay.
tell them I'm going to walk you through our findings.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Love that.
Interesting. Go. I'm gonna do a couple of steps back, Sam, if you don't mind, and Ted, which is I think you kind of already spoken about it, or you've mentioned it, Ted. But like the process that you went through with the events, you probably realize, oh, if I get this speaker, in this area, I get really good results. Have you found the same with the data? Is there one thing that you found got insane results compared to everything else?
I will
Um,
say in tech, every agency has a salary guide or a hiring forecast or something. So we're not different. But we always try to add something in there that is different. So a lot of people just go with comp. Hey, we have our salary guide or forecast, whatever, but it's just comp related. So we look at turnover metrics. Uh,
mm,
can you anticipate what turnover is going to look like on your year? A lot of hiring managers don't think about that, but you have a team of software engineers, 3 out of 10 are going to leave in the next 18 months. And
mm,
are you budgeting? Are you planning for that? Do you know what the recruiting process is going to look like? So if you know that roughly on average for a data engineer, 20% of those turn over every year, then you can build that into your hiring plan, your recruiting budget, your training plan. Maybe you don't want 20% to leave, then work on turnover, work on improving things in your org that will get people to stay. So that's just eye-opening, something no one else puts in there. Supply and demand. How many people are in my market that do this?
mm.
Is it easier to find, for example, a front-end engineer? It's easier for me to find React developers in Denver or Angular developers or Vue. We have a district. We show you what the heat map of those skills look like within that geographic zone. That's valuable. So again, it's giving data that's different and valuable and just putting yourself in the hiring manager's shoes. What do they care about? And I'm going super tech on this. You could do it for finance. You could do it for sales recruiting. You could do it for biotech, whatever your area of expertise is. Ask your client, what do you care about? And I had a CIO one day that said, I love you do the salary stuff, but I'm really curious like what the supply and demand of that talent looks like in Denver.
Mm,
Easy enough. From then on, I've had supply and demand data in our hiring forecast.
mm.
Absolutely love
Fascinating.
that. And Ted, I'm curious, because that sounds like it takes a lot of time to collect this data. Do you have someone who just focuses on this? Like how are you managing resources? Because like creating lead magnets from me and Ben know it takes a lot of time, effort, especially if you want to make them pretty and look good and the information is valid. Like how do you resource that?
We have a magician who works for us who she's our director of operations, but she's a graphic designer. She is
Cool.
Oh
a
wow, that's cool.
a
That's
wizard
useful.
she does all of the research. I
Wow.
steer and guide and here's what we need. And AI helps, right? Helps her. But to package it up and make it look pretty is a work of art.
Mm,
And we're just very fortunate. She's very good at that and has it's like a 3-month effort to get that
Wow.
annual forecast out.
Wow.
We have a template for the custom hiring forecast, so that's faster. I could turn that around in a week. And
Yeah.
she is the framework put together. I usually put that data in there myself,
Cool.
or have our sales reps do it. But it's time investment that I'm willing to do because our North Star, right? I want to be the most
Mm,
recommended. If
yes.
we're the ones showing this data, now we're industry experts. Now they're the ones that our hiring managers want to talk to.
Love that, man. Love that.
So cool.
I've got
Um,
one more question. Sorry, Ben, just to
no, go ahead, man.
and thanks for allowing us to pepper you with questions, Ted.
Yeah.
We hardly have time to breathe. Me and Ben have so many questions. I was going to ask, have you got a most successful lead magnet to date that you're like, hey, this one out of everything has gotten the most response and the most conversations booked and the most business out of interest? And if so, what was the topic and why do you think it did so well?
That is a excellent question. I'll throw an example.
Okay, cool.
And this may not be relevant because it was a specific time window in history, but um, when the pandemic hit, all hiring stopped. So no one was hiring, no one was doing anything. I pulled our team together and basically said, like, we're not just going to sit here and do nothing. So give me some ideas, right? Are we sewing face masks or are we with IQ Clarity logos on them or what are we going to do here? So I had a sales rep who said, well, why don't we get our customers onto a call and talk through what's going on in the market and what they're doing about return to work. And so this is where the roundtable started. And we got our hiring managers were doing the same. They're sitting around like, what are we going to do? We don't, we're not going to the office. They weren't used to working remote. And so we would gather these hiring managers around a topic and kept in front of them throughout 2020, throughout 2021. And then the market just absolutely exploded. Everyone figured out how to hire, everyone figured out how to work remotely. And we were right there with them helping solve that problem.
Mm,
So it's a specific example, but to date, we have so many customers from those roundtables still
wow.
with us that continue to give us business, continue to work with us because we didn't sell to them.
Mm,
We supported them through a very difficult time
wow.
and their networks grew. I would, I'm sure managers have met other managers on those calls and gotten jobs through it. So there's value beyond just talking through a topic. You meet people, you learn. So it's that to date has been beyond what I ever expected.
So
Wow.
fascinating.
That is fascinating.
The first thing I thought of, only because you kind of naturally, when you hear things, think about, okay, is there anything that like? How do I relate to that statement or that comment? And the same thing is true for the podcast for me and Sam, which is just like, and the concept is giving value without expectation of something in return. And I feel like that concept in a business is so powerful. But the most difficult thing about it is you have to think long term and you have to be super patient. And I think most recruiters they cannot, I say most, that's a little bit harsh, but a lot of recruiters don't have that ability to think beyond like the next quarter or the next month, if that makes sense. When really this is like a project I'm guessing that takes 6 months to a year to really come to fruition, Ted. Am I right in saying
Yes.
that? Maybe it can happen sooner for you, but for me and Sam, podcast took us at least a year and a half to really get a groove in, Sam. Am I right in saying
Yeah,
that?
100%. Yeah, I
And
would say the
then,
2 year mark was really when it started
yeah,
popping off
uh,
and we saw the fruits of our labor kind of return, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just sorry, I'm kind of similar topic, but off topic, but it's super valuable, Ted. So thank you for sharing. And yeah, just really interesting that's where you saw the return. I'd love to jump into the custom. Um, sorry, I forgot how you phrased them now,
Yeah.
Ted. It was the
Custom hiring forecast.
custom hiring forecast. Sorry. How do the custom hiring forecasts differ from the larger ones? Like, what's the
Yeah.
difference from the custom hiring forecasts?
So they are laser focused on that hiring manager, likely a specific skill set. And what we found is these hiring forecasts that we do annually are great from October until January, when by January budgets are set. No one cares about 2026 hiring forecasts. They care about it now in October when they're budgeting and planning and doing their cycles for the next year. So we needed something to carry us through February through whatever, September.
Yeah.
And short of doing like a quarterly one, it's a lot of research, a lot of the same information. No one cares about it really until about October. So the custom hiring forecast impetus was that we have so many niche roles, niche things that aren't covered in that forecast, but we still support. And so it gave us almost a blank slate to go into any hiring manager and say, what are the top three roles you're concerned about? Skills. Do you want to know within those skills who your competitors are from a hiring standpoint? Do you want to know who those competitors, how much they're paying their people? And that it's really that sort of that mindset was, as an agency owner, I want to know what other agencies are paying their people and what their comp plans look like. So I'm sure hiring managers in a different capacity have the same, concerns. And so if we can offer some of that data to them, we get in the same room with them. Hopefully someday they're a customer, but we're not aggressively pushing that. We're giving them value, giving them data, and then letting them sort of get stuck on a role and then think of us and come back to us. So.
Love that.
Love that. Ben, unless you have another question on that, there was a
I did actually.
Oh, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, stick to the same topic. Just one more. Just question. It was a good question. I've completely forgotten about it now. Ted and Sam.
No. I'll go on to mine then.
Wait, no. It's coming back. It's to do with the forecast. It's something to do with. Okay, no, I've forgotten about. I don't know how that's happened. Oh my god.
We haven't got much time, so let me go in. The third pillar on your most effective BD methods was profiles. So we've done events, we've done data, and now we're on to profiles. Is there anything? Would you mind laying out the map in terms of what's been the most successful way for you to use profiles in your BD methods, Ted? If that's okay.
It's in tandem with profile, custom hiring forecast.
I see.
Maybe the annual hiring forecast, maybe an event that we have coming up. So all of them stitched together to have a multi-prong, multi-channel outreach strategy that is beyond, hey, I sent you a profile. Did you like the profile? Are you interested in the profile? That's most agency. I'm maybe generalizing, but a lot of firms just send profiles or, hey, do you have any needs? And so it's coupling that profile. Because you want to show, hey, this is what I can deliver. I saw you were looking for this. I just interviewed this candidate. They look like a great fit. Are you interested? Is very powerful. I get plenty of meetings just off of that. But a lot of times they look at it, they don't respond. They get too many of those. So then it's, hey, I sent you this profile. By the way, we've done all this research for .NET in Denver. And I know the other companies that are hiring for that. I have some salary data that you might find interesting. Would you like to meet and talk about that? Great. And then maybe the profile comes up in that meeting, or how we can support them in that hiring. So it's just another channel that's you, or not a channel. It's another strategy that's used for getting a response. Which at the end of the day, as a salesperson in a recruiting world, all I need is the response. I get them on the phone, I meet with them, the rest takes care of itself. And there's probably a whole other topic on those meetings and how to make them impactful. But I think most companies struggle with the response.
Yes.
They're mass mailing, they're calling up 100 people and getting one person on the phone. It's a struggle, and it's because that value's probably not there. So
that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's fascinating.
And a really interesting nuance you said there, Ted, which is you are sending the salary survey or the lead magnet, you're sending the profile, you're sending the event details. So you're like following up multiple times with a new piece of value, and I'm guessing that dramatically increases your chances that they're going to say yes to at least one thing. Is that the thought process behind that?
One of them's going to resonate, and that's what we want and sometimes I repeat the cycle, right? I went through the chain, I go back.
Yes.
Maybe it's a new profile. Maybe it's a different skill set for the custom hiring forecast. The nice thing about the custom hiring forecast, I can do it for anything. It can be any role in the post. So then maybe they have a new role posted. I'll say, hey, what about the data engineer you just posted? So at some point something will resonate, and
Mm,
that's what we want. That's what I want.
mm. Really
It's come
fascinating.
back, guys. The question has come back.
Yes.
My question was, out of the custom hiring forecast, which one has been the most effective? Has there been one like the others that like just outperformed everything else?
There was a huge account that we went into, and they had a niche skill set posted, and walked through the data with them. And it wasn't right away, right? They got the data, went back, we followed up. Hey, we talked about this a month ago. I saw that role still posted. How's the search going? And then, so a few messages later, then they were like, hey, by the way, Vinny, it was totally different than what was in the hiring forecast,
Oh,
but they
interesting.
needed help and came to us. And then we were able to get a vendor agreement in place, do all the things. And it took, and now we're in with an account that's feeding us multiple orders. So
Mm,
the beauty of this business is it's usually not one deal, one company gone. You're unlocking a door to multiple opportunities, a potential $1 million account. You just have to nurture it and keep providing value. That's the problem. It's like it can't just be value now, it's value all year, all
mm,
throughout your dialogue with that individual. So or that
mm.
company.
That really resonates. Like that continuous flow of value, like finding a way of like it's like recruiters need to shift their belief that they need to like think about how can I create a business that's just pumping out as much value as possible, but not just one dimensional. Here's a candidate, because that's I think that's getting old now, or not getting old, sorry, but so many other recruitment firms are doing the exact same thing, and it's just like it's not differentiating.
Yeah.
And sorry, just to go back to the custom hiring forecast on this account that you landed, Ted. What was the offer there? Like, what was the thing that hooked them in? Do you think, in terms of that particular forecast?
And I think it was the initial, we got on a call with them and they realized, okay, they know what they're doing. Store that in the mind bank. Didn't need us now. Keep
Mm,
going. We had the continuous follow up with other value added. Here's a profile for that role you have open. Here's this, and then it's almost just like you're chipping away, and then finally the dam breaks, or
mm.
okay, we need help. This role. And so I don't know that I answered your question, but it was
Well, I probably didn't answer it in the right way. That was super valuable anyway, Ted. But I meant, what was the when you created the hiring forecast? What was it about that got them interested in the first place? That
okay. That was they just were interested in learning about what other companies would hire for this skill set in the area. And I
mm,
think that was the draw
cool.
for them. And it seems
Yeah,
to be the draw for most hiring managers because, again, salary data, look it up, right? It's not that hard.
mm,
We can validate it for them, which I think is the value add for us, is that we're industry experts. So we know, like, this is what you're probably going to pay in Denver for that. This is where you're probably going to pay in Dallas for. And so, in addition to the comp, which is easy to find, that deep research of here are the other companies in town that hire for that skill set. Here's what they pay those people. And this is all public, this is all posted, it's we're not giving away customer secrets or anything. This is public information. We're just packaging it for them.
yeah,
So
yeah. But it's funny because it's like everyone has probably everything they need in the world to become like millionaires, but it's packaged in the right way, isn't it? Because
absolutely.
that it's like we have access to so much information these days. It's overwhelming, but that packaging piece is what people pay money for, isn't it? Or pay time for. It's like the efficiency, everything in one place, which is
I
fascinating.
kind of said I'd love to know what other I could probably go research the stuff I'm curious about, but people are, I don't want to say
Yeah,
lazy is the wrong word, they're busy. And
yeah,
there's
yeah.
so many competing priorities all day.
Mm,
All it's
mm,
I need to just drive revenue and or
mm,
or drive software delivery or drive whatever they're being measured on. That's what their focus is. So if you can come in with something outside of that to say like we took the time to do this for you, are you interested? Most of the time they'll say yes.
so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
I've got a hard stop at 5, guys, just to let you know. But I've got 2 questions in the top of my head. Ben, I don't know if you have any more questions. But my first question was, when you're doing multiple outreaches, Ted, with multiple bits of value, have you found a channel to be the most successful? Email, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Messenger, phone? Like what channel has been the most effective for you to send that value and to get hold of them?
And I would say every member of our team has a different default channel. For one member of our team, phone is he is a phone warrior, and he gets people, and he knows how to dial multiple numbers, get the right people, get them on the phone, and hook them. For me, I've done phone. I like phone. I know it works, but I default to email because sometimes I have a relationship and it's very personal. And for me, I feel like I'm invading someone when I call them or call their cell phone. And I don't, if I'm going to be the most recommended, I'm going to set an appointment and we're going to talk at your convenience, not when I dictate. So, so for me, it's email, and it's that custom forecast. I have another member of our team that nobody responds to their emails, but they respond to their emails. And so LinkedIn message for some reason is getting to the right inbox and they're responding. So I would say it's whatever works for you. Just if the value is there, however you get a hold of them doesn't really matter. You just have to have the value.
That's epic advice, mate. And my other question was, which is completely, we haven't asked you anything about you, Ted. Like I could do like 10 minutes just asking more about you. But I'm curious, like for the last 5 minutes, I don't know if Ben has any more questions, but like what excites you the most about your business at the moment, Ted? I'm fascinated just to get in your mind, because you're obviously very successful. You've dissected your processes and you've created some amazing stuff. What excites you the most about what you do out of interest?
We are at a transformational time in the recruiting world. Everyone knows it. Everyone's feeling it. And it's been a roller coaster for every single, if you haven't had a roller coaster, I want to know what industry you're in or what you're doing. But it's been like this for 5 years now. So as the industry transforms, I wanted to make sure that we're ahead and looking around the corner. And part of this is strategy, part of this is being the most recommended. But as AI starts to transform our industry, how can we stay ahead of that curve? And it's probably a different podcast, so we can get into that. But looking at how it transforms and enables, and I've already told you, like, we're doing highly personal outreach. So there's no bot or agent on the planet that is going to replicate a message from me saying, I know these 4 people in your network, and I want to talk to you because I'm surprised we haven't met yet. But it can make me more efficient. So it can make my personalized outreach faster, better, and stronger. And if I can stay ahead of that curve, that excites me, and that gets me up, that gets me rolling, and it's going to change. It's going to change fast. And if I'm sitting here doing the same thing day in and day out, I'm going to get bowled over by the tidal wave. But if I try to ride the wave, I try to stay kind of at the, not even on top of it, just like don't get bowled over, be in a sea kayak or something and ride the wave. That excites me. And so we're actively working to stay on top or at least not completely washed away by the tidal wave that's coming. But probably like a whole different podcast on that.
Yeah, a great answer though, dude. That's really fascinating. I've learned so much on this podcast, Ted. Honestly, you've peppered us with absolute gems, and like each section we could probably go into in much more detail. But thank you for coming on the pod. Ben, do you have any final questions? Sorry.
No, just thank you, Ted. This was a really lovely surprise, last minute surprise, but super valuable and a genuinely different conversation and topic that we've had. So thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Love the show. Please keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. Tune in for another episode next week, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Peace and love.